we go. Welcome back to 52 Weeks of Wealth. This is your business and your life. Most people go through life believing that everything is complicated. In fact, I remember doing the same thing as I was started. I thought, there's no way I could ever become rich or successful. It's because you have to have all of these different people and all these different systems and all of these different things, and you have to know 100 different things. In fact, I wanted to start an IT company, and I went to Ron, and Ron's like, yeah, you don't have any IT background. And that was a limiting belief that he had. Whereas obviously it's been a decade of working on personal development and moving myself forward. And so I told him the same thing I'm going to tell you. Building your business is very simple, and you want it to be simple. All you need is somebody else who knows how to do what they're doing, and the funds or a system or strategy to eventually pay them the funds, or an inspiring story or mission. Like we have the 100 millionaires. We're on a mission to build 100 millionaires who are inspired to build 100 millionaires. And I'm currently hunting and looking for those people who are inspired so that they can build their millionaires. Now, with this principle in mind, suddenly you don't need money anymore, right? I can bring on a couple of inspired people who could develop or teach me how to develop or share in the development of a new project. And suddenly the project's got legs and it's moving, and they're telling me what to do. And they're telling me how it's going to be better if we add this and better if we add this and simplify this and do that. Hence, if you recognize that tomorrow, IT company in place, right? Yeah, absolutely. Actually, the IT company started about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. So the website, who's been on GualterMurillo.com recently? Who's been on the website? In fact, maybe even got the link for this event on the website. What about our net worth tracker or our calculator, our deal calculator? Who's evaluated deals on GualterMurillo.com? The big multifamily calculator we have out there. Awesome. I built that calculator, right? I went in, built that out in Excel anyway, and then I sent it off to a developer who was inspired to help us build it. And within 3 days, we had a complex calculator. It looks complex, but it works very easily. So you can do, as long as you have a plan, as long as you have a vision, and you simplify the plan to how, to who, not how. Who can do this for me, not how. Now, real estate has 3 things, 3 Fs, 3 F words. You might want to write these down. Who knows I like the F word? I've used it multiple times on stage, off stage, on camera. Well, these 3 F words are same length, different meanings. First one, you need to know how to find a deal. You need to know how to find a deal. You need to have a simple process behind it. If your process is complex, it doesn't get done. The problem with most real estate investors who start out, they start out with wholesaling. And then when they get into the wholesaling rabbit, they start out with, well, you need these 6 different websites, and then that's just how you skip trace. Then you need these 10 websites so that you can go and take that data and start hitting the owner of the property. And then once you start doing that, you got to do all this cold calling and emailing and texting and landing pages. And if you don't have a landing page, oh my God, you're never going to make it as a real estate investor. And so you got to start going through all these trainings. You don't have a landing page. You don't know how to build it. You got to build your own. This is the only way. Why would you pay somebody when you can build one for yourself? And so you're investing all your time, energy, resources, and gaining stress and trying to find deals. Or you could do a simple strategy to find deals, which we're going to talk about in a little bit later. The second F, I don't know if you want to write these down, but I love F words. Like I said, the second F is facts. You've got to know how to evaluate the deal, how to get all the information around the deal. Is it a good deal or is it a bad deal? I can't tell you how many times wholesalers will come to me and say, investors, if you can relate to this, wholesalers will come to you and say, this is a great deal. I got a good deal. Look, it only qualifies as a deal if it's something I will buy. If it's like, oh my God, this is a crazy deal. This makes a lot of sense for me. Otherwise, it's just a property that somebody said they might sell to you. Hence, if you make that connection, you agree? There's a lot of suspect deals out in the marketplace. And there's a lot of ways to find those really good deals, the off-market stuff. But you can't be going about chasing around bad deals because of step 3, funds. You got to fund the deal. Hence the camera, if you know, it doesn't have to be your money. It doesn't have to be your money at all. I want to give Desiree Johnson a round of applause. Look, she's got the shirts rocking in the background. She found a way to wear 2 shirts at once. Let's give it up. Awesome, Desiree. I love that. Names on deeds. That is the whole point in real estate investing. The person who gets paid the most is the person who holds the property the longest and also improves the property, who improves the quality of the property. So it's not just buy the real estate. You got to take care of your tenants. You got to put management in place, and you've got to make sure that your tenants are raised rent. The rent is going up consistently every single year, especially in a crazy market like this where rents went up 7% or 11% in a year or 15% in a year, which means we're falling behind. Even on our extreme rent increases, we're only going up 10%. So there's certain years where we actually lost to lease. Lost to lease is a term in multifamily investment where we're talking about not like money that is sitting in there that we're just not getting. It's money that we could be getting if we raise the rents. Hence the camera if you have ever suffered loss to lease. Yes, as landlords, right? Hence the camera if you've ever benefited from loss to lease. Loss to lease, been one of the people paying less because it should be more. And we got a lot of owners on the call. Let's give all of our Alchemist Nation members a round of applause. Everybody in the mentorship who is buying real estate, who has bought real estate, our new members. It's so good to see you on the call. Now, you're going to recognize that finding the deal, getting the facts around the deal, and getting the funds around the deal, of all of them, even though the funds are the third in order, the funds are usually the first thing somebody asks for. Well, how do I find the money to do the deal? Hence the camera if you've been one of those people. You found a deal and you're like, hey, how do I find the money? Yeah. I don't have the money to do a deal. Well, it starts, it's like going down the highway to go to California, right? If you were living in Boston, Massachusetts, and you want to go to California, it starts with getting in your car, right? You do have to have a vehicle to go and get to California. Then now the money to get to California would be the gas. You got to be able to put gas in the car. That's fuel to get you there. But if you don't have a vehicle to get to California, like it's not going to happen. The same thing, like if you haven't picked a flight, if you haven't gone and picked an airport and a flight, well, then buying the ticket is the fuel. It's the money that gets you there. This making sense. We can see how you have to have a vehicle. Well, the deal is the vehicle. You can raise any level of capital, assuming you have a good deal, assuming you have a deal to work on. So I'd like to start with finding a deal. Hands to camera, if that's okay. If we talk about the simplest way, sticking in line with Wealth Principle 46, the simplest way to find deals. Go online, go on MLS. The easiest way. Now, in the mentorship, we talk about the complex ways. We talk about how to find deals off market. We talk about how to find deals at a discount. But today, I want to go with the simplest way. In fact, the way that early in the business, Ron and I bought most of our properties right on MLS. Even now, Ron are buying most of our properties on LoopNet, most of them. That being said, we still buy off market. In fact, our biggest deal of 2022 is an off market property that is, I can't give too many details away of it right now because it's not under agreement, or it is under agreement, but there's still some negotiations we're doing. But I'll tell you this deal is bigger than our current entire portfolio. So in one deal, we'll be doubling the size of our portfolio, a little bit more than doubling the size of our portfolio. Answer Cam, if you could do that every year. Excellent. Excellent. We got a powerful community here. So the simplest way to find a deal is to know somebody. Now, I have a whole training in Alchemist University called Social Dynamics. It's actually called Get the Attention now, but it used to be called Social Dynamics. And in this training, I would teach people how to go and find the people who have what they want, who have, in our case, the deals. This is actually how I ended up finding this particular deal. It ended up being my mentor who handed it to me and just said, hey, I got this deal. Do you want it? Are you interested? And obviously, I took the deal. Hence the camera, if you had the opportunity to double your income, double your net worth, you would take the deal. Would you do it? We'll see. We'll see. Stay to the training. We'll see what happens after you have this information. So let's say you go on MLS, you find a deal that looks good. You've got to find the facts for it now, or you're on LoopNet. You got to find the facts for this deal. The easiest way to find those facts is to put it into a calculator. Most investors will just stare at the deal, bounce it around to other people, and then eventually not do anything. Within 24 hours of seeing a property, within 24 hours of identifying, looking at a property, you should be putting an offer. Hands to the camera if you've ever not done that. 24 hours has gone by. You looked at a property house online, no offer was put in. Excellent. Is that the reason you didn't get the deal? You just nod your head if that's the reason you did not get that property. Okay. So we accept that if you don't put an offer in, you don't get the house. That's true. All countries, all nations, all states. Yes. Excellent. Awesome. I see some of our sales team is on. So let's give Ivy and let's see, Virgil, Mylene, Masood, and Mark is on the call. Let's give them a round of applause. These ladies and gentlemen are out there building relationships, finding out what the problems are within the community, finding out who has questions, what's not working. The reason is I did a blast text to 2,000 people on Thursday. Yes, that was me. That was my personal cell phone. It was my text magic number. I did a blast text to the entire community because like you're looking for finding deals, I'm looking to finding answers, questions. And I had a hard time responding to everybody. So I have to build out my team to be able to respond and talk to people. Hands to the camera if it's okay to scale. Yes, you want to scale. You want to make a lot of money. And if you want to help a lot of people. So for us to scale, I had to simplify the scaling. Wealth Principle 46, before I get into the facts and the information around this, I want you to write down, we're going to do an exercise because I want this to be practical. When you leave today, I want you to be able to put this into your business. We do something practical every single week on the 52 Weeks of Wealth. The next week will be no different. Next week's Wealth Principle is the law of hyper focus. So the irony is we're simplifying our lives. Then we're going to go hyper focus so we can get massive results. Hands to the camera if you think we're getting to the cool stuff now. Towards the end of the year, this is where the juice comes in. This is the booster shot. It's nuts. Awesome. So I want you to write down what is something in your business that you could simplify in. If you're a real estate investor, then you can just follow right along what we're doing here. And if you're an entrepreneur who's doing something outside of real estate, same concept. What is something in your business that you could simplify in order to find more clients? Real estate investors, our clients happen to be sellers. And if we're raising capital, our client happens to be somebody with money in the bank account or in their 401k, or who's about to refinance or has equity in something. Number two, who is somebody, or what is something I can simplify and cut out? Simplification is about cutting out, removing things to make room for more things. So next week, we're going to talk about hyper focus. This week, we're talking about removing garbage, taking things out of the way. So when it comes to finding deals, real estate investors, this is what I've discovered. If I just go on MLS and I cannot find what I'm looking for, the next leveraged point is still a real estate agent. If I go on LoopNet and I can't find what I'm looking for, the next leverage point is still a real estate agent. I'll call the agents who have listings in the market that I'm looking for. That is your highest leverage point. Now, if you're going the entire day and you have not put an offer in, it's because something is stopping you from doing the calling of an agent to put an offer in. Hands to the camera if you recognize that. Excellent. So then most people tell me I'm too busy. Most people tell me I'm working a job. I have kids. I have family. I have all these different things. Who here watched TV in the last 24 hours? Watch something on the television. Yes. How about the last 7 days? Watch something on the television. Netflix, Amazon. The next time you go to turn the TV on, just think, I've not called an agent today. I've got to go put an offer in. That makes sense? I got to go ask somebody to find me a deal. Awesome. Let that remote be a trigger for you. And for everybody who doesn't watch TV, I assume you're putting offers in. Hands to the camera if that's true. You're actually out there evaluating deals, putting offers in. That's how it works. That's how it works. It's an interesting concept. So finding deals, cut out anything that's stopping you. If you're a prospector, if you're cold calling, just cut out some time out of the fun or out of the unproductive work that you're doing elsewhere in the business and make room for the front end. Simplify the back end, hire an accountant, right? Julie Bradley is our accountant. So we simplified the back end, hire an attorney. You don't have to write up your own contracts. Mike Shine does all of our contracts for us. Hire a sales team. Darina runs our entire sales team so that I don't have to go and have any conversations with them. Although if I had to, I would. And it's good to see you guys on here. Hire the back end so that you can make more room for the things that make the most money. The webinar for me is my high leverage point. For you, it may be some sort of landing page or a website, or it may be taking the calls or putting those appointments in. Finding the facts, evaluating the deal. By the way, I want you to write down anything that you could take an hour in this process, an hour back in your day. Write down something that you could easily sacrifice that you're doing right now to get an hour back. Hit the camera if you already have something. If you already know what that hour, where that hour is coming out of, awesome. And it can't be something that affects your health or your relationships, unless you're spending 8 hours in the gym or 8 hours with your spouse. If you're already spending 8 hours in the gym or 8 hours with your spouse, then yes, you got room to cut back. And scare if that makes sense. There's a little bit of excess. You get 24 hours in a day. 8 hours can be spent on wealth, 3 hours spent on relationships, and 3 hours spent on health. That's it. Break it apart. 8 hours, 8 hours, 8 hours. So in those 8 hours, if you know 8 have to be asleep, make sure you're sleeping with your partner. That's as good as they get, guys. Sorry. So we're going into the fact finding piece. Use a tool, use a resource. Everybody in Alchemist Nation has the checklists of what a good deal looks like. If you go into Alchemist Nation, Alchemist University, and click on get the deal, you can go down to the checklist that we have in there and utilize those. Questions to ask. These are things you should be asking the seller. You can also go to waltermiller.com and you go to the website and go to the deals section and type in the information for if you were looking to buy a piece of property, what are you looking to buy? Now, if you're looking to evaluate and get the facts, you're going to need to know, does this property have, one of the issues Ron and I landed on with Fulton Street was we bought the property, we closed on the property, we started doing work, we found out the thing was, what was the problem with that, Ron? It was, they put the stickers on the door, they ceased and desisted what we were working on, they stopped us from doing the deal. I can't remember the name of that situation that occurred. Where is Ron Bolin? Ron, what was the name of that? Ronald Bolin. Still there? Did he mute me? Ron Bowling.
No, he didn't mute you. He's just ignoring you.
What was the issue on Fulton Street?
Wait, which issue on Fulton Street?
The term for when they shut down your building. What was that? Why did they shut it down? What was the reason?
Oh, Fulton Street. Yeah, we rehabbed the whole thing without pulling any permits.
No. What was the reason they shut it down? It was abandoned. What was that?
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember the term.
Abatement, right? Abatement.
Condemned.
It
It was condemned. All right, let's give Ron Bowling a round of applause.
Yeah.
That project was like 4 years ago for us.
Yeah, that project.
And since then, we have not purchased another condemned building because now we know how to look to see if a property is condemned or not. You got to go to the building department and find out. Now, a lot of people try to do all this research before they get the house under agreement. No, the property you owe no research to the property until it's under agreement, until you got it under contract. The only thing that matters, step 1, step 2 in facts, is you've got to make sure that the numbers work. Does it cash flow? Does it make sense? So all you need is either a calculator on the Scaredy Cat guide. You go to the simple Scaredy Cat guide calculator if you're doing like I'd say small deals and you don't need some of the extra pieces, like anything under 10 units, maybe even under 20 units works really good on that calculator. And so I strongly suggest, single family investors use this calculator that Mitch Jorsky put together, scaredycatguide.com. And then the other calculator, the multifamily calculator, is ideal for people who are doing deals that, you've got to show cash flow, you've got to show internal rate of return, taxes, all of those aspects. Then you can use the calculator on the website. And another calculator we use is Bigger Pockets. Feel free to use theirs. I know that theirs costs money, so you got to be a member. You got to make sure that I think you only get 5 for free. Hands to the camera if you know how to use a calculator already. If you're already familiar with how to do it, excellent. If you're not familiar with how to use a calculator, Mitch Jorsky did a training in the Names on Deeds training. If you're in the mentorship, you already have access to it. This is something that Ron and I have been talking about. Maybe we should just make it free on our website. So we may actually do that at some point. But for right now, it's behind a paywall, which qualifies. It just allows us to say, okay, like this person's serious. Anybody who's in the mentorship, though, hands care if you're in the mentorship, paid for it, graduate, absolutely yes. Anybody who's ever been through any of our programs and wanted one of those, they're all now included in the mentorship. Ron and I had a conversation about simplifying our business, the education company, and saying, there's too many landing pages, too much stuff going on. Let's just make one barrier to entry. They join the mentorship, they get everything online, every resource, every document, everything that we ever had, everything that we'll ever have going forward, anything we build, everybody in the mentorship gets that. Hands to the camera if you think that's cool. All resources for mentorship students are available for you no matter what. One click and you get access to everything. I think that's a better way to do things, but it simplifies our lives. No more products, no more landing pages. It's one product. If you get into the product, you've got everything on the back end. And I think that's a lot easier than $99, $200, $500, all these different landing pages and ascension funnels, because people like complex. By the way, this aside, people like complex. For some reason, we're attracted to the complex system. We want to go buy the complex thing. Oh, there's a lot of steps. I want to buy that. It must be really good if there's a lot of steps. Guys, 3 steps. Find the deal, get the facts about the deal, put an offer in, and then fund the deal. That's it. This is it. And it's in that order. It does not need to get money. You don't need to get money before you go buy a piece of real estate. You know, I know plenty of people, if some of them are on this call, I know plenty of people who have tons of money. We're all sitting on a ton of cash, but no deal. All right. Hands to the camera if you're still looking for a deal. If you're out there looking for a deal, you know you got access to capital, you got access to money, just haven't found the right deal. Awesome. Excellent. So this is the game that we're playing. Most people have no clue all the stuff you guys are learning and have been learning for the last few months. They're still out there thinking I need to get the money. So let's talk about the money. It's scary. If you want to know a couple strategies to get the funds, you want to know a couple ways to get the funds. And for some of you, this will be just a refresher. Everybody in the mentorship already has access to the whole Get the Deal training, already has access to names on deeds. So you guys are very familiar with how to go and raise private capital, how to raise funds. You're familiar with hard money. You're familiar with commercial deals. You're familiar with some of the FHA loans, the no money down USDA loans, VA loans, how you can get into a property with seller financing, partial finance, seller financing. You can get into a property with subject to existing mortgages. What we're going to talk about right now today, to keep it simple, is traditional financing. It is the easiest kind of lending. The second one would be seller financing. Seller takes the note, done. Easy, refinance 2 years later. It's the simplest form of buying a piece of real estate. There's no credit check. There's no documents you have to sign outside of just the deed contract and the mortgage contract that you're setting up with the owner. It's the simplest way to close. And it's the easiest way to raise capital. Hands to the camera if you would love every deal to be seller financing. If every deal is seller financing, it'd be the easiest thing in the world. Absolutely. Of course, subject to the wraparounds of partial financing, the hard money, the private money, all of these pieces we talk about in the mentorship. And that makes a ton of sense to learn. You should know all of them because seller financing is one of the rarest forms of financing. But it does happen. I've done it number of times, both full seller and also partial seller. So, but we're going to talk about full seller because it's a lot easier. But everybody in the mentorship gets access to all that stuff. Hands to the camera if you already know how to do most of these because you've been in the mentorship for a little while and you've done the training courses. Let's give our students a round of applause. I love you guys. You guys really make this community a ton of fun. You're talking about millionaires or people on the path to becoming millionaires. In fact, many of the ones on the call right now already are millionaires. Many of them have already done it and are still in this community because they want to help you do it. So let's give our dedicated millionaires, mentors, our coaches a round of applause. Thank you guys and gals for what you're doing. It means a lot to see millionaires still out here helping and giving back long beyond the time that we have to do it. So you seller finance simply by asking. This goes back to simplifying the business. We have to ask in order to receive. We have to ask, open our mouths and ask, say, hey, I could buy this deal. In fact, somebody came to me this week. One of our students came to me this week and said, man, like I had the financing lined up. I'm having a hard time raising private capital and the seller, we need to close on the 27th. And I'm just like, I don't know what to do. How do I get the funds to close this deal? And I just texted back. I was like, well, have you asked for seller financing? And he told me, no, he hadn't asked for seller financing. He just had assumed he was going to raise private capital, go into the deal and lock it down. But the deal was so sweet that it didn't make sense to give up on it. So I told him, well, go back to the seller and tell him. He's like, what do I say? What do I tell him? I was like, dude, just tell him the truth. Tell him exactly the truth. Look, my partner didn't have backed out of the deal. And I still want to close on this. I have the ability to close on this. I have the rest of the funds lined up. It's just one of my partners had a financial situation. It didn't make sense to jump into this deal right now. And so I'm wondering if you would be interested in just carrying $69,000 of this note for either a year or 2 years. And I'm going to pay you interest the entire time. So you'll still get that money, but you're also going to avoid paying the taxes on that capital this year. So you're going to split off your gains either the next year or the year after. So you're going to save some money on taxes. You're going to make some money on interest, and you're going to be helping me get this deal done in time so you close in 2021 instead of pushing your tax gain over to 2022. Hands to the camera if you understand that's a really compelling story for a seller. And they're still getting almost $200,000 of their own cash back anyway. But this is now they're getting a little bit of they're going to be the bank. They're getting to be the bank. They're getting a little side hustle, right? They're getting a little delay in taxes. They're getting a little benefit in income, and they're learning a new skill. And it's great for the investor because obviously they're going to go potentially be able to borrow from this person again, maybe with higher dollar amounts, maybe a little bit more down the road. The interest rate that I suggested was 5% because this investor, this person who's selling their house has no other way to make money. They don't know any other avenue. They're not hard money. They're not private money. They're just the seller who's looking to sell and wants to make sure the deal still stays together. Hands to camera if you know when you're, how many days are we left to the 7th? So if you know you're 9 days out, you're going to get more desperate on how to close. If the buyer comes to you and says, man, like I can't close this deal unless the only way I can close this deal is if you seller finance a small piece, not everything, just a small piece. So seller financing is still, you can do portions of it. It doesn't have to be the whole thing. Let's assume you can buy the real estate. You find the real estate on MLS or off MLS through one relationship, simplifying the whole thing, one relationship. Just ask an agent, hey, what do you got? Or multiple relationships, but the idea is just ask agents, what do you got? What do you have in off market? 2, you go and you evaluate the deal using a calculator, not evaluating everything else. Dude, I don't care about the city hall. I don't care about the building department. I don't care about, how long have they lived in the house? All of, who are their neighbors? Some people will evaluate so deep into a deal before ever putting an offer in. In fact, hands to the camera if you've ever been guilty of any of this. At some point in your career, you ended research on something you didn't own. Yes, we've all done it. So we don't need any of the facts until we've got it under agreement. So fact finding, the idea is cut out all the fact finding except for, do they want to sell to you? The only fact that matters, do they want to sell to you? Are they willing to sell? And are they going to sell at the cash flow number that makes sense for you and your business? Then from that point, you're right on to funding. Take the funding, ask for seller financing, done. How many deals could you do? Could you do more than one deal if you use this strategy consistently? Simplify. Could you do more than 10 deals if you use a strategy and it worked perfectly every single time? Yes, absolutely. So your scale is dictated based on your creativity. It's based on your belief systems. Prior to this call, who knows somebody, even right now, who knows somebody who has said, I don't have the money to buy real estate. I can't get into real estate because I don't have the money. Yes. Who knows people inside or outside of our community who have said, I can't find a good deal. The reason I haven't found something is I can't find a good deal. And definitely outside of this community, because everybody in the mentorship has had an opportunity to learn how to evaluate deals. And if you haven't, go and watch the video, that training that is up for learning how to evaluate deals. Thanks to Mitch Jaworski in the university. Everybody knows how to evaluate a deal, right? So once you get something, you're just doing the facts. So simplify your business. Wealth Principle 46 is about simplification. Wealth Principle 47, which is coming up next week, is about hyper focus. How to scale up, how to really dive in and do the right things. And we're going to talk about hyper focus. You can register now, go online, go to waltermiller.com. It's free, same like this call was. Register now for next week's call. And before we jump off, I do want to talk about the mentorship really quickly. Hands to the camera if it's okay that I answer a couple questions for the people who are thinking about jumping into the mentorship. Excellent. What does it look like? Well, it's 8 weeks jumpstart plus a full year of mentorship. You go through the full 52 weeks of wealth, 52 wealth principles for real estate investors. And you also get an 8-week jumpstart with accountability. On the accountability call, we're going to ask you each week, what are the 3 wins? We're going to hold you accountable to 3 wins each week. And then right afterwards, we're going to ask you, what can we hold you accountable for this week? And we're only going to hold you accountable to one thing. And the reason is, again, simplicity and hyper focus. I want you to ask a question before you answer this. Anybody in the mentorship who's coming in, what is the one thing such that by doing it, everything else is easier or unnecessary? What is the asset I could build this week or acquire or conversation I could have this week that would allow me to do it never again? You never have to do that piece again. It's scale up your business. So every week of the 52 weeks, you're scaling up your business. Hands the camera if you think that's a good idea. If you think scale is important, yes. Simplicity is important. Automating yourself is important. The other thing that we do in the mentorship is you're hanging out with celebrity coaches. These are all people who've written books, including myself. I wrote the book Broke to $250,000, which I forgot to mention at the beginning of this. Why should you listen to me? I'm the author. I'm the best-selling author of a book that helps people become real estate investors, helps you become financially free. I also wrote the book Get the Deal, right? I wrote the book on how to get the deal. Real Estate Alchemist, How to Get Deals, Underground Playbook. This is a simple process, guys. This game is easy. It's not very complex, but you do have to show up. You do have to want it. So in the mentorship, my only requirement for people who sign up is two things. One, motivation, a burning drive, a burning desire to be successful. And two, a commitment to becoming a millionaire. If you're not interested in becoming a millionaire, the mentorship is not for you. This is not for the people who just want to make a little bit of money. This is for people who want to become millionaires. The price is $2,000 for a reason. We increased it so that we could get more skin in the game. When a person doesn't pay, they don't pay attention. Who's heard that before? They don't pay attention. Yes. Who knows that's true? I know it's true for me. If something is free, I disregard it entirely. If it's free, okay, whatever. It would have to be super addicting and free for me to continue using it. Like Pandora was free for a long time, and then they made it not free to get rid of the commercials. I pay for getting rid of the commercials. Who else pays to get rid of ads and advertising? Yes. It's good for you. Smart. Well done. Control your time. Simplify your life. Get rid of the garbage. We don't need ads in our lives. What we need are the right people. In the mentorship, you get access to the right people. You get access to the people who are thinking the same way, who are building the same way, who have money, who have deals, who have the ability to close deals. Networking and relationships are where all of the money that I've made. In fact, I made a post on Facebook because I was in a mastermind this week where I learned something in a mastermind. I'm still learning, even though I'm a multimillionaire, I'm still learning. I'm still in these groups networking. And what they said was that you're only one relationship away. One relationship away for your deal, one relationship away for your funds. The two things that you need to close the deal, and one relationship away from getting all the facts about the deal that you need. Answer the camera if you know you're only one relationship away. Excellent. Excellent. If you're sitting out in the waiting room or you're on Facebook, you're watching this after one of my video ads, then you may be one relationship away, and it may be me right here. So maybe click in the mentorship and building that relationship, getting things started, because the people who take action, they get results. The people who don't, well, results may vary. We'll leave it that way. If you don't have a guide, if you don't have a mentor, if you don't have somebody to move you through, it would be an honor to work with you. And you get not just me, but the benefit of all of these other millionaires, these ladies and men who are willing to help. By the way, millionaires and future millionaires, are you willing to pay it forward? Are you willing to help and give other people guidance, information, share how you did it? You would answer those questions? Yes? Let's give our amazing community a round of applause. I love each and every one of you and your dedication to the cause of building more millionaires. 100 millionaires inspired to build more millionaires. We're unstoppable. Mike Shine, the book of the week. Each week, we talk about one of the wealth principles, which we just did, and we also include the book that backs up that wealth principle. Michael Shine, you're up.
All right. So the book of the week is the 12-week year. And I absolutely love this book because I'm one of those people who set goals in January and then get back to them in November. And so the thing about the 12-week year and why it's perfect for this week's wealth principle is it shortens your year. So your year is not 12 months anymore, it's 12 weeks. And that means that every single decision that you make and every day during those 12 weeks, you have to be doing something to move you forward. And it's amazing how that that makes you achieve your goals. You can't push stuff off till November. You can't say, hey, maybe I'll get to that later. Everything, it's time critical, and it simplifies everything, because stuff that isn't important gets tossed to the side. This guy who wrote this was working with some of the top insurance companies in the world. Thousands of agents were trained by Brian Moran, and it completely changed the whole industry, because all the goals that these people were setting were suddenly getting crushed by March 31st. And then they set another 12 weeks for the second quarter and the third quarter and the fourth quarter. So if you want to accelerate your life and accelerate, Walter talks about being a millionaire in 3 to 5 years with this program, but we have seen people do it in 1 year. Well, this is a great book if you're in a hurry. Like if you think you have less time than other people, a 12-week year will help you crush it. I love this book. It's a lot of good stories in it too. 12-week year, I highly recommend it. That's the book of the week.
Let's give Michael Shine a round of applause. And I love that. Thank you, Mike, for reminding me. Yes, the commitment is become a millionaire in 3 to 5 years. That is the process of the mentorship. The mentorship is a year, but you still have access to me, the community, the online university for a lifetime. And you still have the ability to text us and message us in Alchemist Nation right there. So anytime you do have some sort of struggle that's taking you down, we'll put you back in the game. Hands to the camera, if you recognize the mentorship gets better and better every year as our community grows, as we get more access, as we continue to build out the back end of the online on-demand trainings. 3 to 5 years, imagine if you cut that into 3 months. Right? Imagine if you just did 12-week years and you broke out, and suddenly now in 3 to 5, 12-week years, little segments, you could become a millionaire within a year, within a year and let's say 1 more quarter, right? That's the full 5. You had to do it that way. You don't have to do something for an entire year to figure it out. You could do it in 12 weeks. If you've seen something like that in your life where other people took a year to learn something and you did it in 3 weeks, 3 months. Who's seen that before? Hands to the camera if you've gotten really good at something in 3 months and you didn't need a full year like some people think. Excellent. This is the same exact process. You can become a millionaire, and I want to be very cautious when I say this. Some people do it within a year. Some of our students have done it within a year. Those are our unicorns. Those are the rare, shiny, amazing people who just do what they're told, when they're told. They don't ask questions. Well, they ask a ton of questions, but they don't hesitate after the phone is up, after they get off the call with us, after they go and start doing action. They stay in action. They come back with questions. People who are not asking questions are people who have not taken action. And it's Cameron, if you recognize that's true. It's hard to have questions if you don't know what you're talking about. Absolutely. So you got to get out there and you got to do some stuff. Get some stains on your knees, on your hands. Get your hands dirty. Like, this is just part of the game. So if you want to sign up for the mentorship, click the link below or go to waltermerlo.com/mentor. If you know it's right for you, if you want to schedule a call, go get a free call. If you want to go to the free webinar, go to ibuildmillionaires.com. It's a free webinar. We're going to go into deeper details to make sure that you're getting the resources. And for some of you who know that, man, like, I need a change and it's time to take action, but you don't have the money, well, simplify your life. Keep going to the free stuff. Buy the books, take the free trainings, go to YouTube. The internet has all the information, but you're going to have to find yourself somebody to hold you accountable. Somebody to say, did you do it this week? Did you go take action this week? Did you put an offer in this week? Did you raise some capital this week? That's where the money is getting those accountability partners, people who want to get rich with you. Hands to the camera if you know you're looking around the room and there's people who want to get rich with you right now. People in this room are like, yes, I'll hold you accountable. Let's go. It's like going to the gym. Let's work out our muscles. Excellent. Well, then, ladies and gentlemen, you can be successful. You can become a millionaire. Look, if I could do it, you can do it. I was broke and now I'm not broke. I'm very wealthy. 3 to 5 years is all it takes. It took me 5 years because I didn't have me. I didn't have the system. I didn't have the process. You can do it much faster. You have skill sets. You have a community, right? In Alchemist Mentorship Program, you get all of us. In Alchemist Nation, we're here for life. Everybody who was at the summit felt a very special bond. The 100 Millionaire Summit we had in Orlando, you have a very special bond with everybody in that room, holding you accountable, taking you to the next level. Some of you are wearing the shirts. Every time I see one of these shirts, I remember that's what I'm doing. 100 millionaires. That's right. Keep growing 100 millionaires. And anytime I see names on deeds, I'm like, that's what I do. I put names on deeds, whether it's my name or one of my students' names, one of my partners' names. The idea is put names on deeds. We want to acquire real estate because the economy is changing. The gap is growing and it's getting dangerous. If you stay on the wrong side of the gap, eventually it'll be very hard to get to the other side of the gap, right? If you're poor or middle class, getting over to the rich side is going to be much more difficult every single year that goes by. There are less and less jobs. It's becoming more entrepreneurial, which is good because you got trainers like us who are out there showing you the way and sharing the path. But if you don't jump across to the other side of the gap, there may not be an opportunity for you. And it's not just you who suffers if you don't go make money. It's your family. It's your community. It's the people around you, the people you could help, the business owners, the jobs you could create, for other people who do need a job. That's who suffers. Hanson Care, if you commit to becoming as successful as you possibly can, reaching your full potential. Excellent. Let's give this community a round of applause. Love you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. And for those of you who are not in the community yet, want to get access to the mentorship, click the link below. I'll see you on the other side.